Cup of tea saves your life, doesn't it? But is it worth risking your life over? So in this video, we're going to be comparing 3 popular stoves. The Triangia spirit stove, or a compatible one, a cheap gas burning stove, and then a more feature rich one. And I'll be going through the various merits of each one. The Triangia stove, this is a copy from AliExpress that cost me £7 for the whole lot, has a little body like this that goes inside this support. It can take either bioethanol or methylated spirits. Let's just bob a bit of meths into it. Your pan sits on top, reasonably stable, and you can light it in numerous ways, although a fire steel can be quite easy. Now that's difficult to tell that that's actually lit. You usually have to put your hand over the top of it to feel the flame, especially in bright sunlight. And that's one of my problems I've got with this. If this gets knocked over, the fuel that's in there is obviously going to spill. You can get ones which are spill proof. I think they use a sponge inside them. But the fuel's going to spill, and then the naked flame next to the fuel is a recipe for disaster, especially if you're cooking inside your tent. My other issue with this is that it takes, I timed over 10 minutes to boil a pot of water. Now that's too long. They are lovely and simple. They don't make any noise at all, which is a delight. Relatively compact, although as we'll see, there are ones which are just as compact. So the flame is now out. That will cool down and that can go away. The second kind of stove is this kind. My wife and I bought this when the one we've been using for a good 20 years, after a decade of non-use, I went to get it and it had just corroded. They obviously run very, very hot, and the heat causes the metal to corrode. So this one, quite compact. These bits fold out like that. And then you use one of these gas cartridges to screw onto there. You can use the larger ones, and you can get even bigger ones than that, and you can refill the small size cartridges if you know how to do that. But you stick that down, turn the gas on, and it lights. Now this has a number of benefits, but it also has some problems. Firstly, when you've got a pan balancing on top of there, it's very easy to knock things off. Using one of these supports, which just press onto the bottom, certainly makes it more stable, but you can still have accidents. This support, as many of them, will work with more than one size of cartridge. You can get metal versions of the supports, but they do the same job. It's debatable whether the plastic one folds up smaller. It probably saves a couple of grams in weight. These are pretty safe. They're quite light. In fact, this is the Triangia stove without fuel is 149 grams, and this is 139 grams, so it's a little bit lighter. I'm not going to give you the model number of this because we bought it in a camping shop and I have no idea what it was called, but you can get lots of different ones which are very similar. Some of them come with a piezoelectric lighter, which I would definitely recommend, although it's a good idea to have a second source of ignition. And some of them have a loop where the fuel is taken past the flame, which means in cold weather, the fuel is given some chance to warm up, so it works more effectively. Certainly if you're going to use for season camping, that might be a good idea. So this is the model that I'm replacing it with. This has 3 burners. The legs fold out in a similar way. It uses a pipe to connect to the gas bottle. This will take the normal gas canisters. It will also take the longer ones. And there is an adapter that will screw onto there to use with the long bottles. The long bottles can be got at a considerable saving compared with these ones, especially the 100 grams, which cost a lot more per gram of gas. This has a piezo ignition as well, which we'll also have a look at now. So you can turn the gas on here. And I'm sure you can hear from that, that is a very large flame. Because there are 3 burners, you get more heat coming from that. There's a windshield which runs around the 3 burners, which saves you having to use this kind of setup around your pan. But the main reason that I'm liking this one, and I wanted to take it on my next few wild camps, is that a pan sits very squarely on that. That is very well supported. The width of this triangle that your pan sits on is much greater. So that's why I'll be using this one in future. Just mentioning the pan. I have, as you can see, cut the handle off this £4 pan that I bought from my local Asda. Got one of these, which cost me £3 from AliExpress, and you can pick the pan up with that very easily. So that will go into your camping bag and not cause any issues. I've also got a slightly smaller but metal plate, which will actually sit inside my frying pan, which I think is a benefit. And I've replaced those green plastic cups with a set of 4 metal pans, because first of all, the plastic ones just aren't big enough for I like a bigger drink. These stack inside each other. They are pretty lightweight. I did weigh them. There's a matter of grams difference. I mean, it's not worth arguing over the difference in weight. But I will probably be taking the 2 middle-sized ones on my next camp. And this wasted space inside there will not be wasted, because I will put something inside there. The small gas cartridge will go inside that one. So one option might be to take those 2 sizes. I don't know. I'm going to have a play with that. So they're the options. I would recommend speed, which this one will give you, gives you an additional safety factor, because this is going to get your water boiled, which means you can turn it off and remove the flame, the dangerous flame, from your tent and your environment much faster than with that burner. You've got an almost 2-to-1 saving in the time there, and definitely the Triangia burner, which you've got a flame that is a lot more dangerous because if it spills, it's going to spread. And also, because it's silent, may get forgotten. I can see the potential of you easily knocking that when it's been boiling for 5 minutes and you're doing another task while the water boils. Much more dangerous in my view. So let's summarise what we've got so far. The spirit stove, very compact, nice simple stove, very cheap, easy to set up, completely silent in use, which is a delight. But it has the major disadvantage that if it's knocked, the fuel may spill and you've got danger. It also takes such a long time to boil your water that can be an issue. The simple gas burner, very cheap, easily available. Gas canisters are available from many places. Has the disadvantage that your pan sits very high and is easily knocked. The more complex Odoland is very, very fast. It is more expensive, but not overly so. It uses a wide range of gas canisters, as well as the normal dumpy gas canisters. It can use the tall aerosol type, which are very cheap. Your pan sits completely flat, which is brilliant. It is more bulky and slightly heavier. I think that's the one to go for though, because it's so safe, because it's so quick to get your food ready.